During the meeting. It was an ordinary morning in 2020. The streets were silent, the offices empty, and the whole world seemed to fit inside the small windows of a computer screen. Meetings, laughter, problems and goals, everything blurred together in the cold routine of home office life. For Mr. Augusto, director of a tech company, it was supposed to be just another day of reports and pixelated faces. But he didn't know that on that day, something would happen that would change his life and someone else's forever. At the meeting scheduled for 9 o'clock, employees began to log in one by one. Cameras on, microphones crackling, polite greetings. In the lower corner of the screen, a new name appeared. Rafael Moreira. He was one of the new hires, recently brought into the development department. The young man seemed reserved, spoke little, and kept a sharp, almost wary gaze. No one knew much about him, only that he had been hired during the peak of the pandemic, and that he was good at his job. Perhaps too good. While the others discussed numbers and goals, Augusto noticed something strange. Rafael's image froze for a second, and that brief instant was enough to send a chill down the director's spine. There was something familiar about that face. The features, the distant look. A forgotten memory seemed to stir inside him, but he brushed it off. After all, the young man was barely in his 20s. What he was imagining made no sense. The meeting went on as usual, but the discomfort lingered. It was as if that face refused to leave his mind, echoing a silent question. When Rafael turned off his camera at the end, Augusto sat staring at the dark reflection on the screen, trying to remember where he had seen that face before. Then something clicked, an old yellowed photograph of a missing boy he had once seen in the news. The name he couldn't recall, but the eyes were the same. Uneasy, he opened the drawer where he kept old newspaper clippings, a forgotten habit from a time when he believed he could understand the world by studying its tragedies. He flipped through the papers until he found it. Boy mysteriously disappears in 1995. No trace ever found. Below the headline, a photo, a 6-year-old boy with the same eyes, Rafael's eyes. Augusto's heart raced. It couldn't be a coincidence. But it also couldn't be real. The time, the age, everything was too far apart. Still, something deep inside him refused to dismiss it. That night, at home, he opened his laptop and searched the boy's name. The case had been closed over 20 years ago. No body, no leads, no explanation. The boy had simply vanished. For hours he stared at the screen, comparing the old photo with Rafael's company profile. The shape of the face, the faint scar near the chin, the quiet gaze. Everything matched. The air felt heavy. The ticking clock echoed like a heartbeat. Doubt consumed him. In the following days, Augusto began watching Rafael more closely in meetings. Every word, every gesture, every reaction. But Rafael seemed too normal, or maybe too good at hiding what he felt. The mystery slowly turned into obsession, until one rainy afternoon, Augusto decided to confront him. He scheduled a one-on-one meeting under the pretext of reviewing reports. When the call connected, they looked at each other in silence for a few seconds. The director forced a smile, but his voice trembled slightly. "Rafael, do you have a minute?" he asked. The young man nodded. "Of course, Mr. Augusto. Is something wrong?" The sound of rain tapping against the window matched the tension in the air. Augusto hesitated, then took a deep breath. "It's just that I have the impression I've seen you before. Your face seems familiar." Rafael frowned, surprised. "I don't think so, sir. I've never lived around here." Augusto studied him closely. Rafael's gaze shifted slightly to the side, like someone avoiding an uncomfortable memory. And in that brief glance, Augusto was sure there was a secret behind those eyes. But what? When the call ended, a strange unease settled in. Something told him this story was far from over. Raphael's face lingered in his mind, a shadow from the past, begging to be remembered. That night, shutting down his computer, Augusto stared at his own reflection on the black screen and whispered, "Who are you, Raphael?" The next few days were filled with silent restlessness. Augusto couldn't focus on spreadsheets, graphs, or reports. Every time a meeting notification popped up, his heart skipped a beat. Raphael was always there, calm, focused, yet somehow distant, carrying secrets no one else could see. One afternoon, while reviewing old project files, Augusto found an overlooked email. It was from a recruiter, mentioning Rafael Moreira as an exceptional candidate with remarkable skills. But something was off. The resume was incomplete, with missing years in education and employment. The numbers didn't add up, no references, no past. A chill ran down his spine. The coincidence between a missing child and this man's missing years couldn't be ignored. That night, under the pale glow of his monitor, Augusto began digging deeper. Old archives, digitized newspapers, forgotten forums. He found fragments of stories about children who vanished in the 1990s, cases unsolved, unexplained. Among them, a pixelated image on an obscure site, the missing boy's eyes, identical. His phone buzzed. A message from Raphael. "Mr. Augusto, may I stop by tomorrow morning to review the reports we discussed?" So simple, so professional, and yet Augusto's heart raced. The next morning, rain fell softly outside the office window. Raphael arrived, carrying a folder and a shy smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. As he sat down, something slipped from his hands. A small, worn notebook. It caught Augusto's attention immediately. Black cover, tiny handwriting, and a strange symbol embossed in the corner, one he couldn't recognize, yet it sparked an odd sense of déjà vu. He leaned forward slightly, but Raphael quickly picked it up. "It's just an old notebook," Raphael said, his voice steady but trembling ever so slightly. "Nothing important." But Augusto wasn't convinced. The way Raphael held it, the quick glance away, everything about it felt loaded with meaning, like a memory he was trying to bury. Determined to uncover the truth, Augusto began noticing patterns in Raphael's messages, in his schedule, in his silences, and then, hidden deep in old company archives, he found another name. Lucas Moreira. The name hit him like lightning. Lucas. Could it be? What if Raphael was that missing boy, grown up, reborn under another name? The puzzle pieces started to fit in ways that defied logic but made eerie sense. Just then, Raphael stepped out to take a call. Augusto watched him from behind, the tension in his shoulders, the unease in his stance. Something told him that the notebook, that symbol, and Raphael's past were only the surface. When Raphael turned back, their eyes met again. A silent weight hung between them, fear, curiosity, and something else, unspoken but binding. Augusto knew with chilling certainty that he was standing on the edge of a truth that could change everything. The office fell silent. Outside, the rain intensified, drumming against the glass like a countdown. Augusto closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered, "Who are you really, Raphael?" And for a fleeting second, Raphael's expression faltered, as if an ancient memory tried to surface from the darkness. That night, wind howled against the windows of the empty office. Augusto sat alone, staring at his computer. In front of him lay a flash drive, like a missing piece of a puzzle finally found. Curiosity wrestled with fear. Whatever was inside, he knew it would change something, maybe just a story, maybe 2 lives. He inhaled deeply, plugged it in, and waited. The metallic click echoed in the room. A single folder appeared. Records. Inside, old photos, notes, and audio files all dated decades back. One picture stood out. A small house surrounded by trees, dated Feb 1995. He zoomed in. In the background, A child smiling, holding a dark notebook, the same symbol, the same eyes. A shiver ran through him. He closed his eyes, trying to make sense of it. It wasn't coincidence anymore. It was a link. But what kind of link? Outside, the rain fell harder, as if time itself were watching. The next day, Raphael arrived early. The exhaustion on his face was evident. He noticed Augusto's expression, heavy, knowing. "Raphael," said Augusto softly, "I found something that might belong to you." He placed the flash drive on the table. Raphael stared at it, silent. After a pause, he murmured, "I thought I'd lost it." "It was here," Augusto replied, "next to your notebook." Raphael nodded slowly, his eyes clouded with memories he couldn't name. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "I have dreams that don't feel like mine, places I've never been, people I've never met. But they call me by a name I haven't used in a long time." Augusto stayed silent. The moment felt fragile, as if any wrong word could break it. "And what do those dreams tell you?" he finally asked. Raphael took a deep breath. "That I need to remember." Silence again, thick, meaningful, rain tapping on the windows like a metronome. After a while, Raphael picked up the flash drive and slipped it into his pocket. "Thank you, Mr. Augusto," he said. "I think I know what I have to do now." Without another word, he left. The office fell still, heavy with unspoken truth. That night, Augusto opened the old photo again, the child holding the notebook. He stared at it for minutes, lost in thought. Then he noticed something he hadn't before. In the corner of the image, faint and blurred by light, a shadow, the silhouette of an adult watching the boy from afar. A chill crawled down his spine. It was subtle but undeniable. The photo held something deeper, another story, still hidden. He exhaled slowly and whispered, "Nothing ends when the past is still awake." And then, ding! A notification appeared on his screen. From Rafael Moreira. Subject: "We need to talk." The screen glowed, reflecting Augusto's pensive face. Outside, the wind howled, and the clock struck midnight. Time, once again, seemed to hold its breath.